through his journey with Incredible Devices. Incredible Devices is a medical device hardware startup. So with that, I leave this discussion on innovations in BME rightfully to Mr. Vikram Goel. The floor is all yours.
Thanks for giving me an opportunity to share my journey. So today I will going to share more about how to become a successful entrepreneur rather than what we are doing right now. So if we look about India, there is no doubt that we are an emerging world power, and it's the right time where people like all of us can quit their regular job towards creating a better impact, generating more job opportunities, and help achieving the same dream which we see India as a third global economic power. So setting up the context, so where we are right now. So we have witnessed a very fast economic growth. We jumped to the fifth global economy in a span of less than 5 years. There's a concern is that we are the largest importer of medical devices, but as the adage is, Aapda mein Avsar. So we can see this is we have a very high consumer base, and with the favorable government policies, we can become one of the global medical device manufacturing hub. So the aim which we all are looking, or all should be looking towards, is like how we can turn ourselves as a third global economic power, becoming OEM hub for all the medical devices and other fields as well. And to start with the Make in India products with a vision to export globally or make for the world. So the entire world has witnessed our potential during the pandemic time, where the world powers were even struggling. We have launched our Made in India vaccines, our COVID diagnostic kits, masks, and PPEs, which were not earlier manufactured in India. We turned out to be the global manufacturers. Same goes for the ventilator, respiratory devices, and even we moved one step ahead, where we developed ventilator disinfection systems to fight black fungus kind of cross-contamination which happens to patients on ventilator and the respiratory devices, and where we have saved millions of patients in COVID hotspots suffering from black fungus and other such things. So like how one can become the next beacon of innovation. So where I'm going to share my recipe. I started my career as a biomedical engineer in 2012, worked with Philips Healthcare and Fortis Healthcare, and started my own venture in 2017. So this is bit of a knowledge sharing, what I have learned and which one should follow, will able to help him successfully become or convert himself from a technology guy to a technopreneur or an entrepreneur. So the prerequisite to be an entrepreneur is very simple. One should be creative, self-motivated, and persuasive leader. All these skills are acquirable. If one thinks one is not creative, then there are brainstorming exercises, which if one does for just 5 minutes a day, then it turns out to be a 30 hours of exercises or a kind of a crash course every year, and help them become a successful creative guy with a persuasive skill. The second thing, which is the most important key ingredient to become an entrepreneur, is a persistent hard worker and a smart worker. There is no shortcut to hard work. One has to admit, if he wants to land up into any sphere of life, he has to be a hard worker with persistent efforts. Clarity of vision is as important as having a beacon in a sea or a lighthouse, which gives you the direction all the time. Because in the journey of an entrepreneurship with lot of distraction, one can easily lost out his ways. So this is a very important thing, clarity of vision one should go with. And risk-taking capabilities, entrepreneur journey is not for weak-hearted people, because it requires a lot of risk-taking at the right time and the right sphere. And one can easily achieve this with a lot of patience and persistence. And one of the important thing which I prefer above IQ. So most of the people think like a person with a high IQ, if he has 6 or 7 patents, then only he can become an entrepreneur. That's not true at all. The most important skill one should have is the social quotient and emotional quotient. That is very important. Social quotient is how well you treat the society, your colleagues, and emotional quotient is like how are you more empathetic towards their requirements, because this finally helps you build a team, and team is what I have seen in my journey is the most important thing among all. So step one, there are only 2 steps to be a successful entrepreneur. I tried to keep it in a very concise manner so that my fellow biomedical engineers and other colleagues who are listening to me can adapt it in a crisp manner. So first of all is the biggest challenge is identify the problem. So identify problem is like half the game done, because the problem which we see.
Mr. Goel, We are
Yes.
very happy to hear you, but we will need to wrap up in the next 3 minutes in the interest of time. So
Yeah,
I would
sure.
request you if you can, tailor your talk accordingly.
So identify problem is like half the game done. You can initially, if we see a problem in our particular hospital or group of hospital, that could not be scenario that it's a generic problem. So it takes time from weeks to months to years, where one need to talk to weeks to months, basically to 6 months or 8 months, where you talk to experts and users, as much as people you can, purchase teams and admins, to generalize your problem. The second thing is how you can quantify your problem, whether this problem has a national perspective or a global perspective, or basically how big the market is in terms of money. Basically, money is the last driving force, and how much impact it creates. Then you have to work out, find your way out, developing a solution you're using your engineering skill or whatever skills you have. And then another important aspect is protecting your idea. So very few people are aware, like there are many ways you can protect your idea at a very niche stage. For niche stage, you can file provisional patents, where government of India is also supporting in terms of reduced fees. And then once your idea is developed, you can now file for a full patent specification. Then if you are a coder and you have developed some IT solutions for which you cannot get a patent, you can apply for copyright, trademark, and so on. And then testing and quality control, as Pooja ji has mentioned in the succeeding previous sessions, you have a clear idea of like what ISO 13485 and other things, and regulatory approvals like for CDSU, FDA, and CE. The final stage is acceptance and commercialization, where you have to introduce your product to the market, the key opinion leaders, and commercialize your technology. The second step, how to become how to successfully commercialize or launch your own startup. The first thing is finding a co-founder and raising your team like a family, which is very important thing. It takes time, but you have to you have to do a thorough study and find the right fit for you. Then business plan, there are many models which with the help of which you can create your rough business plan, and then with the help of industry experts like CA, CS, you can convert it into a more precise, detailed business plan. Business plan is a very essence because this will help you raise funds. There are multiple ways a startup or an individual can raise funds. Government of India supports a lot
Mr.
through their
Goel,
program. Yes,
sorry, but as I said, we are really pressed for time. I think we will partner with you for a separate workshop. I can see that you're very passionate about this subject, and it is very detailed, very piecemeal. And I'm sure that you can set an example and inspire a lot of other health entrepreneurs who might have all the talents that you mentioned, but may just be lacking the necessary motivation or the push, however you say it, for going in there. So thank you so much for joining us today. And of course, we look forward to you being on the panel as well. I think you'd be there.